math friends, it's Mrs. Beals and we are here to work on adding with regrouping. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to just try a problem and we're going to model it all along the way so that we can explain our learning when it's all done. So our problem is 243 plus 172. Well, the first thing that I want to do if I want to model this is I'm going to write my numbers on my place value mats. My first number is 243. 2 is in my hundreds place, so that's worth 200. 4 is in my tens, that's worth 40. And 3 is in my ones, that's just worth 3. My second number is 172. So I'm going to write 1 is in my hundreds place, that's worth 100. 7 is in my tens place, that's worth 70. And 2 is in my ones place, that's worth 2. So when I'm adding, I always want to start with my ones place. I always start at the farthest right I can. In my ones place, and you can see the O at the top, that's for ones, I have a 3 plus 2. When you guys add that, you know 3 plus 2 is 5, so I'll go ahead and put 5 down here in the block, but we also have to show it with our cubes. So let's show our ones place. The first number is 3, so I need 3 cubes. Let's see if I can get them here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Our second number is 2, so I need 2 more cubes. All right. When I put those together, 3 plus 2 more is 4, 5. So I've got a 5. And that works. A 5 is here, and a 5 is over here where I've added. All right, now that the ones place is gone, I go to the next place, which is my tens. In my tens place, you see the T means tens. I have a 4 and a 7. So when I add those up, I put the big number in my head, which is a 7, and then I add 4 more on top of it. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That gets me 11. So I'm going to put 11 down here, and I'm going to represent 11 in my tens columns. I have 4 here, so I need 4 of my 10 strips. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 7 down here, so I need 7 of my strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. And 7. Let me count those to make sure I got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. All right. So when I add my 4 strips up here to my 7, I have 11 tens strips. All right, this is where it can get a little funky. 11 is way too much to have in my tens place. Remember, I'm only allowed to write 1 digit. So I'm not allowed to leave this 11 here. I've got to get rid of some of it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to trade some of my tens in to see if I can give them to my next door neighbor, the 100th place. The thing that I try to remember if there's too much on the floor, which is here, too much on the floor, I've got to send it next door. Since there's way too much on the floor, I'm going to try to send some next door. The thing is, if I want to send it next door to the hundreds, I've got to be able to make a hundreds piece. Okay? If you remember the hundreds piece, it's really big. Let me grab it. It looks like this. I've got to be able to make one of these hundreds pieces, and I think I have enough to do that. Remember, the hundredth piece has 10 strips in it, so as long as I can get 10, I can send it over to the hundreds. So let me see if I can get at least 10. Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I was able to send 10 over. Awesome. So instead of using these tens, I'm just going to change these out for the hundreds piece because remember it's the same thing. So I'm going to throw these out and put the hundreds in its place. All right. So the way that looks now is instead of having 11 down here, we only have what, guys? We only have 1. So I'm going to erase that 11 and I'm going to change it to a 1. Same thing over here. I've got to erase the 11. It's just 1 now. Now, how am I going to say this? Now, the 10 tens that I exchange have jumped over to the hundredths place. So I'm going to add the 1 that jumped right up here in the hundredths place. Okay? So I can't just make that 1 disappear. I sent it next door to the hundredths place. Okay? Just like this 1 didn't disappear, I sent it over to the hundredths place. Because I sent it over to the hundredths place, I'm going to change this from a 1 and make it a 2 because I sent 1 over to the hundredths place. Okay, so I've added my 1's place. I've added my 10's place. Now it's time to add my hundredths place. So in my hundredths place, I've got a 2, a 1, and then I've got that 1 that I sent next door from the 10's. So let's see, I've got my 2, and I've got my 1 and the other 1 that I sent over, and now I can represent those. So let me represent my 2. Okay, there it is. And now I'm going to have my 1 from the 172, but I also have another 1 that I sent next door. So I'm going to grab that 100. Okay? So, I've represented my hundreds. I've got to add them. 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's 400. So I'm going to put my 4 down here. 415. Let's add up over here and see what we got. 2, 3, 4. 415. All right, great job adding, friends. We're going to practice another one in just a minute on our next video. My secret word is going to be 1 cube. 1 cube. Come back knowing that word. Thanks, friends.